Hi everyone! Today we will learn how to request access to protected data using senhasegura's API. Imagine your environment includes encrypted data to protect sensitive information, and we have the key to decrypt the data securely stored in senhasegura. So, if during my workflow I need to request access to protected data, maybe using a script or automated process, we will have to provide it with the decryption key. In this example, I have some encrypted data in my environment and I have a secure decryption key already. If you don't know how to encrypt your data, visit the senhasegura Shorts playlist or support documentation to learn more. In today's video, I will focus on the key used to decrypt the protected data and the API request more specifically. First, go to the A2A menu and click on Applications on the left-hand side. You will see I already have an application, but I'll show you the setup in detail so we can understand the process behind it. The rightmost button allows me to edit the application, and here we can add an application name and choose an OAuth signature. This is an important step and we recommend you use version 2.0. You may choose to also add tags and a description. My application is called GetKey and I chose OAuth 2.0. Done. Now let's investigate the authorizations. Authorizations establish what are the senhasegura entities that my application can access using a particular key. The most important tab for us here is the Security tab. Protected data requires you to check the PAM checkbox, but there are other models you can choose like certificates, task manager, and dashboards, but we only need PAM. In Authorized IPs, I only added an asterisk, but it's highly recommended that in production, you added the request source IP address here. This will block any other sources from accessing the data, even if it has the decryption key. So senhasegura will deny access to the data anyway. We have other tabs such as credentials and devices because you can request access to those using our API. You can learn more in other videos. But in this video, we will focus on the protected information. As I mentioned before, we already have encrypted data in our environment. I can search for it and add it to the list below. This will give me the information ID, a crucial step in the process. Because basically, I will have to provide senhasegura with this ID so the platform knows what data I'm requesting access to. And the API key generated here is what allows me to access ID 173 more specifically. If I type 172 or 174, senhasegura won't give me access to it because these IDs are not listed here. That being said, now that setup is done, and we can generate the API key. To generate the key, click the View button to the right of the application name. And since we are using OAuth 2.0, it gives us a client ID and a client secret. These two keys are going to be necessary to get an access token because it is the access token that actually grants access to the protected information. I'll show you how it works. For now, copy these two values because we will use them in our API request. I have copied them to a separate file, and now let's go to Postman. This is my Postman account. And you will see some fields have been pre-populated, but I will go step by step so you can understand how to use it by yourself. First, you will have to add the right URL. Always choose the GET option if you want to access data in Senhasegura using our API. The protocol is always HTTPS, and since I'm working on a local environment, I'm using my Senhasegura IP address. But in production, you will probably have the DNS server that connects to your Senhasegura environment or clustered environment. That is, 2 or more Senhasegura environments clustered together. The endpoint here is ISO PAM info, and then the protected information ID. Remember, I said it would be important? Here it is. The authorization type should be OAuth 2.0, and on the right-hand side, the access token URL is the address used by Senhasegura to know where to request the access token given the client ID and client secret below. To request the access token in Senhasegura using OAuth 2.0, our endpoint is HTTPS combined to Senhasegura's DNS server /ISO OAuth2 token. And here you should have the client ID and secret that we copied from the web interface. And grant type should always be client credentials. Click Get Access Token. And the newly generated access token is here. It is a bit long, as you can see, and it comes with an expiration date, one of the reasons we recommend the use of OAuth 2.0. So if you try to make a new request tomorrow using the same access token, depending on the time of my request, the token won't work anymore. I'll have to generate a new access token. I'll use the token, and only now should I send this request to the protected information. Done. At the bottom, you can see the response to our request. By default, this is a JSON log file. The status is 200, that's okay. But what we want is down here at info, more specifically, content. This is the decryption hash for this data. Since this is a JSON file, I can modify it and parse this data to only select the content item to use this decryption key in my backend to access the protected data. Well, Postman is a tool that streamlines these steps, so to make it a bit easier to understand the process behind it, I will actually move to curl in my Linux workstation to show another valid option. To optimize the time in the video, I have already started the curl request, but let me explain how it works. First, I installed curl's binary files in my Linux system, and as you can see, this is very similar to what we did in Postman, but adapted to curl. This is a -d curl. I have to add a grant type like we did in Postman, a client ID, a client secret, Senhasegura's access token URL. Note that I'm requesting access to the access token, right? Not to the protected information yet. And to request the access token, we run a post function, not get, post. Senhasegura will then send me a valid access token. Copy the access token and start a new curl here at the bottom. Now we will use this access token to request access to the data. The token is connected to the client ID and secret. And now I'm requesting access to the encrypted data. We paste the access token and we add the URL of Senhasegura's endpoint. This is the exact same URL we had at Postman. The response looks different, but it's exactly the same JSON response we saw earlier. That's it, and thank you for watching.